Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new video on the unrecorded 2018 little Polo. This Polo is sort of a standalone one. It's 18 to 20 and it's been a bit of a pain to get the bits, but we got there with it in the end. And then in the last video you would have seen we panelled it up, but there was a few little marks and dinks around it, so Chris has sorted those out. This car is ready to go to the paint shop. Couple of little marks on the door. Even that second-hand wing that I got had a few marks on it. You'll probably be watching this video first, but there's a very happy man over the back there.
Well, there's a few more bits to bid on yet.
Is there? There is actually the classic car auction today that we previously put out at Hobbs Parker. And Chris, how many you got so far?
One.
Chris has won something at that.
Two more bits.
There's two more bits going through. So you've all got that to look forward to in an upcoming video. Guys, don't forget, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Right, straight into this one. I've been out this morning and picked up the seat cover. We've had that repaired by Leader Trimmer. And once that is back on that seat, you're never going to tell that that ever went off. We've got the new airbag there to put in the seat. While I was out picking that up, Chris has already done rear seat belts, front seat belts, both curtain bags, and got the roof lining all fitted back in the car. Guys, we didn't want to time lapse that. You can't put the phone down here, point it up there. You can't see anything. Some things are just too difficult to record. But now the rain's eased off, going to leave the seats down, and we're going to try and capture a bit of this. So we need to do the dashboard in this one, which we also mentioned on the earlier models. That is just a panel that you take out and replace with a passenger airbag. On this particular model, it is a complete dashboard, which of course we have got from Airbag Team. I'll put their link in the description down below, guys, if you need any airbags. They got airbags for every car. I even noticed on their Instagram, you can actually drop your car off there and they fit them for you as well. So let's crack straight on, get these airbags swapped out and get this one up the paint shop. All in this video, Chris. Let's just try and do it. Are you wet flatting that, or are you just going to send it away like that? Send it as it is and let them flat it. Your little hands are worn out, ain't they?
Well, we've got a lot to get on with, haven't we?
We have got a lot to get on with. Right, let's crack on with it. Right, first things first with the airbag kit. Trim clip remover and remove all of the panels that are around everything. So like air vents, the surround around the radio, the clocks, anything like that that can come out. Let's get a trim clip remover and get all of that removed first. Right guys, so far very straightforward, and this is the first time I've done one of these facelift Polos, but you can see on the back all just little clips holding it. That bit there was quite tight, I'm not going to lie, that was tight, but this surround here, very easy. Hazard switch, that just popped out, and then of course we got the screen there, which is the radio, and that I've just used the radio clips in the bottom there just to push those little pins over and get that out. And of course the centre heater vent and a little surround there off the centre console. But that is all of the clips. See, that's all of the surrounds off, and you've got your wires here. If you haven't done one before, take pictures, so that wire you can see is coming up over the top through this hole, so you don't want to get it confused and go through this one here. Same with these two, you need to pay attention to them. Now it is just going to be a case of star drives, but if you haven't done a dash, sorry guys, I appreciate, I probably should have said I'm going to give a few tips in here because people do ask and we don't really do sort of a how-to, so I'm trying to integrate that with it. If you don't know about your dashboard in particular, if you've got the new one there, take a good look at it and use that as your reference. So come back and you can see that there is a fixing, and then down the bottom here there's a fixing, etc, etc. I'm not going to go through them all, but you're going to find all of your fixings on this dashboard, and then you know, it's parked real close to the car, and you can just keep going backwards and forwards for a reference. I'm going to go around and undo all the screws, get rid of that driver's airbag, and let's continue on. To be fair, that was probably one of the more easier ones to do, actually. Certainly a lot easier than that little Citroen C3 we just done. So this one does a hook into the metal frame. So there was a couple of screws a little bit hidden that I had to find, but like I always say, you put a little tiny bit of pressure on it, you can kind of feel that pinch where it is pinching, and 9 times out of 10 put your finger straight on it. So I've just called Chris out to give me a hand. I think everything is pretty much out of the way, so we're just going to attempt to lift it off and take it out the door of the car. It's probably a little bit too close, that. That's more like it. Ready, mate? I've unhooked it already, so I can sort of just come up, back, nice and slow, Chris. Sorry, mate. There's one over the chassis number, actually. There's a lot of parking tickets. Liam would have got these when he took the screens. It's obviously something that was broken. Oh, the actual bracket, look there, is off the airbag. It's actually snapped off. That bolt's there. I'm sure. Don't worry about the tickets too much, because Liam can get things that will shut right down, and it does a windscreen. Right. Yeah, quite easy, guys. Let's show you. So that little bit of plastic I was just showing Chris there, actually, this part of the dashboard is actually supposed to bolt in. There was a bolt through the, you can see there where it snapped off there, and that's your bracket that holds the dashboard down. So that is it. Literally, that is it. It is now the reverse process of actually fitting this one back in, but fingers crossed it all goes all right. I'm going to get Chris to help me lift it straight in and start bolting it all back up. Chris was right, I forgot all about it. Liam did say he'd try and get out and cut that windscreen out. Little sneak peek, I think, Chris, of what you're up to.
I'm trying to remember where all these bits go wrong.
That is all Land Rover Discovery.
It's
And
been
that,
in bits a long time, hasn't it?
and are they going to be watching this video before this one? No, it'll be after, won't it? Probably, we ain't got a clue, but there's a lot of bits there for Chris to work out. But yeah, Liam cut the windscreen out, so Chris is just going to help me get that dashboard back in there. There's your two locator pins. You've got one this side and one that side. And of course, he's got rid of all of those parking tickets that were down there. And you would have seen me and Chris pulling them out. There was a fair few in there. So, little, you can all show your wives this little clip. Do not leave all the tickets on the dashboard. My Claire is a nightmare for it. And I only looked at her windscreen a little while ago and you couldn't even see the chassis number. And you couldn't in this one either, to be fair, but you can now. So we're just going to let Liam out, and Chris, you're going to help me lift that dash in and get that centre wire.
Yeah.
That one there.
A lot of spare on it.
No, and I mean, I didn't actually say.
Shall I glue that one a bit better?
Does it come off, is it?
Yeah, I'll glue that on.
Yeah. So that little tiny wire there, it is a little bit tight to do, but you can actually, what I will do is, I'll pop this one out of this dash, and then you can just poke the wire up, plug this in after, and then insert it in there. So, do you know what? I'm not even sure what that is. Probably for the key. Yeah. That's exactly what that is. Right, let's do it.
Did you show us?
The seat? No, I didn't. Good point, Chris. Sorry. Chris was over here while I was doing that, taking out all them bolts, and he's put the seat back together. Guys, you're never going to tell, are you? That's absolutely perfect. Once we've done the dash, we get that bolted back in now. So a bit of time lapse there, guys, but wanted to get cracking with it straight away and get it back together. That is another little tip as well. If you are doing an airbag kit, try and do it all in one day. So take one out in one day and obviously put the other one in the same day as well. It does really, really pay and help. So got quite a lot back together there. Got the clocks in, got the radio, got the sat-nav or CD player up there. That's all back in. Glove box is all bolted back in. Just going to move on to the heater controls and all of the panels that was clipped on up here. I've noticed one of these little metal clips actually shot out when I was pulling them clocks out, so I need to go over there in a minute, pick that up, get that back in. Little heaters here, little vents, they just pop straight back in. All straightforward stuff when it is fresh in your mind. So that's going to be it for today, Chris, I think, isn't it? We'll be back in the morning. That really has actually been a pleasure to do. It really wasn't that much of a job. There's a couple of screws left for the trims under there I've got to put in, and also these side trims here. Now the reason I've stopped what I'm doing now, I would have just carried on and bolted all this back up. See those two 10mm hold the back of this in. Handbrake cable I've got to connect back up. I had to get that to raise as high as it would go in order to get the centre console over it. So the reason I've stopped now is because before I actually finish and put all the little covers and caps on, what I want to do is actually fit the driver's airbag, get this car plugged in, see if we can clear the codes, start the engine, make sure that the airbag code's clear. We know we've had quite a bit of luck lately with the new scanner and clearing the airbag faults, and it's saving a few pounds as well, because we haven't got to take the module up to our friend up in Gillingham and have it reset. But what I do want to do before I put all that back together, I want to make sure I can actually clear that code, because ultimately if I can't, that module will need to come out, and then it's another load of work actually getting in there. You can see they're quite tight in there, and also, you know, stuff that I think that probably was one day somewhere a McDonald's chip. But we want to get all that cleaned out, don't we, before we actually physically put this all back together, because you're not going to get to it after. I don't think the old man with the grease gun at Volkswagen was too bothered, was he? Certainly got one of the cables, that's for sure. Anyway, Liam is going to come this afternoon and fit a new windscreen, so ideal time now. Get that steering wheel plugged in, the steering wheel airbag, get it all plumbed up, get it plugged in and have a look, see what codes we got. But yeah, very, very easy to do, and of course, only minimal side panels left to actually put back in. So let's get this driver's airbag fitted and see what we come up with. Do you know what, guys? Typical, actually. I've got the scanner over there. See it there, right near the internet. Because I plugged it in and I wondered what was going on there. That was all new to me, and it seriously needed an update. It hasn't been updated for quite some time. So what I've done was vacuumed it out. Believe it or not, I've just stood in the back there and put them in there, them footprints, because I've just done up the handbrake in the centre console there, because none of that is going to need to come out if we do need to get to that. So I managed to vacuum it all out, got rid of the McDonald's chips, and I thought, while we're waiting for that to update, because it's already been 10 minutes and it's only on 50-ish%, I'm going to fit the driver's seat in and sort of get it back together. I vacuumed out the other side as well. I spared you all that on time lapse, so I didn't bother filming any of it, but that's all vacuumed out, and as is the back down there. So all nice inside. I might as well get that seat fitted while we're waiting for that to update, and then we can see if there is anything. But I have just been through. I'll just make sure this turns off quickly. Don't want that coming on. So I've just checked all of the buttons. Hazards are working, blower's working, and the radio, let's just turn that down. You can see that's come straight on now, and that's all working as well. So when you press menu, see it's all come up, car, everything's all working. So quite happy with that. Checked all the indicators, horn, steering controls. Let's have a little look. I'm sure they're going to work anyway, but I've checked through all of that, as nothing's going to stop me from bolting that seat back in. So let's get that in. We're definitely coming to the end now. That's the seat back in. But like I said earlier, I'm going to probably do this, get it all loaded up off camera. But guys, check that out. See all those green dots? They all need updating. Typical. And then the next page, all need updating. And then you can see I've just updated a few, because ultimately the Volkswagen one is the one we need. So I'm going to get that all logged in, and then we'll have a look at what codes we got. But we get a lot coming up on the dash here. Please check brake fluid level. Check coolant owner's manual. Obviously there's no radiator in it. Error ABS, sorry about the beeping, control. Error airbag. Front assist unavailable, lots and lots not working. I did just double check these again, and you can hear the radio is going up there, so they are all working. There's nothing wrong with them. I'll get this loaded up and come back. You know what they say, guys, there's always a first time for everything. 100% complete. This is the first time this has ever happened. It hasn't got one. Nothing's clear. It's everything's got a fault code. Engine control module 5, brakes 4, aircon 2, electronic central electrics 21, adaptive cruise 6, airbags 19, instrument cluster 2, gateway 2, power steering 4, information electronics 1, 2 faults. I'm going to need to go through all of these, but a lot of them are going to be, we've got a lot of stuff unplugged at the front. The brakes, we've put a new brake line on, that hasn't been bled up yet. I'm just going to need to go through them. Aircon, it's got no gas. So it is going to be a lot of that adaptive cruise. That's because of that little sensor down the front. That's obviously not in the right place. So I'm going to go through, and really the only thing that I'm trying to achieve here is probably the airbags. Just make sure that they're all clear, because we've just put this new airbag kit in. Right, that's a complete scan done. And I've tried to clear it all as well. Unfortunately, it won't all clear. So you've got engine control module 3 faults. Don't forget, we've got the whole front panel unplugged on this car. Brakes, which is ABS, like I said, they need bleeding. So that's one fault. Airbag, we've still got one fault there with the airbags. And that is crash shut off, I think, or possibly crash sensor off of the front panel. I will just quickly show you guys, let it load and show you. Hopefully it will come up with the one fault that's left. But both seat belts have gone, curtain airbag, the seat, everything seems to have cleared. Oh no, there's quite a few come up there, look. Data bus error, value received, driver's seat belt tensioner, igniter resistance. Actually thinking about it, I've popped this seat in, I haven't actually plugged it in, have I? So yeah, still a few there, and also it does keep coming up with the fact that it's had a crash. There's information in this car. So unfortunately, I think until we've actually got it all plugged back in and reset everything, it's not going to come up with clear faults. It's not going to come up with a pass, no fault on all of them. So power steering, again, that's had that shut off done, so the power steering's not working. But of course, I cleared all of this on the A1, so none of it's going to be a problem once it is all back together. And over there, as you can see, the front panel has just arrived with the rads, and that's probably one of the most expensive we've ever bought. All back together, but I'm actually, this video in particular, normally we do work quite far ahead and we have got some other stuff filmed, but we're finishing off this video and you're going to be watching it today, just the way it worked out. And Liam cannot get here till 3 o'clock, and of course we want to get this uploaded, so we're going to get the windscreen in it, and then of course after that it'll be off to the paint shop. That is the whole car back together. I even put all the A-pillars back in. They don't need to be out. Driver's seat, I've got that plugged in now. Chris must have hid the wires. Well, we're going to blame him anyway. Like I said, them codes, we're not going to be able to clear them. And I do want to actually bring it up again, because everyone always mentions it. Chris, you said to me how many there was in the last airbag video that I did. How many bolts are left over. Guys, there should never, ever be any bolts left over on any job, but definitely not an airbag. It is really important that you get them all in. And like I said, in those little tips and tricks, try and keep it fresh in your mind. So that is, mate, that is it. That is, as soon as Liam's been today, you've done the front bumper, haven't you?
Yeah, that's all in prime.
I haven't shown it because I didn't know where it was, but shall I quickly show that?
Yeah,
Might as well, mightn't I?
Yeah.
If it's not all locked up. So that's ready to flat off as well. Absolutely perfect. As soon as he's been, I'll probably drop that over there. Well, I can't do it tomorrow, but I'll drop that Monday morning.
Yeah.
We're going to let them flat that off and give you a chance to have a break.
Yeah.
I'm walking backwards here, Chris. Don't want to trip over, mate, because today you're going to end the video.
Am I?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's the end of today's video.
That's the end of today's video. Have a good weekend.
And we'll see you all on Monday for the next one.